The EFF has hit back at Elon Musk after he called for Julius Malema to be declared an international criminal and for immediate sanctions to be imposed on him. The party says it will not be cowered into submission, retreat or capitulate from its principled and unwavering commitment to confront imperialism and its surrogates like Elon Musk. Sinawo Tambo, the spokesperson of EFF, had this to say.
The economic freedom fighters is not fazed by the declaration made by owner of X, which is formerly known as Twitter, SpaceX, Starlink, Tesla, and the recently so-called director for the Department of Government Efficiency in the United States of America, who has made a declaration that the president of the EFF, Julius Malema, must be declared as an international criminal. As part of the general hysteria that has overtaken governance in the United States, Musk has assumed the role of a global billionaire maniac, who has grotesque wealth that has overwhelmed him and made him think of himself as a supreme ruler of not only the Oval Office but of all nations of the world. The commander-in-chief and president of the EFF has been at the forefront of struggles for the African continent and the diaspora since his activism as a young person in the former liberation movement of South Africa. Central to his perspective not only on economic freedom and the emancipation of African people has been a staunch opposition to Western imperialism and all of its manifestations. It is therefore not surprising that Julius Malema will be declared an enemy by the global capitalist establishment, an agenda advanced by the likes of deranged individuals such as Elon Musk. However, the misconception and mischaracterization of the president of the EFF as genocidal is a sideshow that seeks to undermine the ideas which he represents. The EFF and all people who have been at the yoke of oppression perpetuated by the USA and its allies are bound to naturally be the quintessential enemies of billionaires who capture states and manipulate narratives and misuse their control of governments to cast aspersions against their natural enemies. The EFF takes this opportunity to tell Elon Musk and all of his allies in the USA, in Israel, and the right-wing groups in South Africa, which have mobilized Musk to collectively go to hell. The principle remains that equality in South Africa is rooted in the return of the land to South African people, and this will be achieved through expropriation without compensation. Additionally, the EFF makes a firm commitment that Elon Musk's Starlink will never operate in South Africa without complying to local legislation which demands that there must be 30% local ownership. The offense that Musk has made against the leader of the EFF constitutes a meddling in our domestic affairs which we do not take lightly, and he must be viewed as an imperialist who seeks to undermine the economic and political sovereignty of South Africa through sanctions and is part of a mischievous attempt to sever relations between South Africa and the USA. The EFF declares Elon Musk as an enemy of South Africa and a capturer of governance in the USA who will lead to that nation's downfall. All progressive nations, including Russia, China, India, and all African states, ought to isolate and reject all enterprises pursued by Elon Musk in their nations. Elon Musk has captured the presidency of the USA and has weaponized his office as an instrument to pursue his business interests globally. His nefarious influence must be opposed and undermined by all nations which respect their sovereignty and seek to maintain independence. The EFF will not be cowed into submission, retreat, nor capitulation from its principled and unwavering commitment to confront imperialism and surrogates like Elon Musk anywhere and everywhere where they raise their ugly heads.
Responding directly to Elon Musk on Twitter, Julius Malema had tweeted on X the following: "I don't care about your sanctions. I will never stop fighting for black people to be equal to white people. And if that makes me an international criminal, I'm proud to be one." Those are the words of Julius Malema. Sinawo Tambo now joins me, the EFF spokesperson. So now, in the clip Elon Musk had responded to, Julius Malema was addressing a rally on the ongoing machinations and changes at the time in local government, particularly between itself and Action SA, Herman Mashaba being the leader therein. And Julius Malema was heard saying the words, "We will cut the throat of whiteness," which Elon Musk interprets as a call for genocide against white people in South Africa. Talk to us about what Julius Malema had meant by those words.
Greetings and greetings to your viewers. I think that it's a tragedy of a lack of education and a lack of understanding of turns of phrase and metaphors. Because we've explained this not only post that statement, because we were at the time removing Assault Trollip, who was the mayor of Nelson Mandela Bay, to teach the Democratic Alliance a lesson, because their methods of co-governance in local government municipalities was dictated by arrogance. So when the commander-in-chief and president of the EFF said that we are going to cut the throat of whiteness, he was specifically speaking towards undermining the arrogance that perpetuates governance that is led by the DA in co-government agreements. And that was the simplistic meaning of it. But leave that. We went to court, the Human Rights Commission and also to the Equality Court, to sort of explain ourselves as to what did we mean by kill the boy, kill the farmer, which is an extensive metaphor of us fighting against the system of white supremacy, the monopolization of the resources of South Africa and the means of production, with the minority in South Africa and with the historical conquest that is encapsulated by apartheid and colonialism. So there's a historical sort of academic and legislative agreement, not only legislative but also judicial agreement, that the methodology upon which we speak about supremacy and domination and monopolization of resources in South Africa by a white minority can be expressed through songs, can be expressed through metaphor. So Elon Musk's misinterpretation of phrases and terms of phrases and songs as a call for genocide is his own illiteracy. But also it's rooted in the fact that South Africa has been taking the United States of America to the International Court of Justice for the crimes of Israel against Palestinians, and that is the root cause of all of this.
Just a last question, Sinawo. In its statement, the EFF said that it calls on all African nation states and progressive states to cut ties with Elon Musk, to effectively isolate him. And it means that to not allow any businesses that he owns or are affiliated with to trade in their country. South Africa is one such country. It includes X, for instance, as a platform. Are you calling on government? Is the EFF calling on the government to ban the operation of X as well as the trade of Tesla and other Elon Musk-related businesses in South Africa?
Look, as the EFF, we think the primary agenda of Elon Musk currently is the fact that his Starlink satellite company is not operating in South Africa without complying to the BE legislation. And this is the primary reason why the United States has also taken an offensive stance against South Africa. So we are calling for the ceasing of operations of all of Elon Musk-owned companies, inclusive of X, if necessary, to stop operating in South Africa. Let's establish our own social media platforms, because it seems as if the relations with the United States of America are going to be determined by bullying and submission, and we should not allow ourselves to be subjected to that.
Yeah. Sinawo, thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. Sinawo Tambo is the national spokesperson of the Economic Freedom Fighters.